Dr.M.G.R. Educational and Research Institute, University, Madurai, Chennai.
Machine learning will automate jobs that most people thought could only be done by the people. A warm welcome to the chief guest of today's event, Mr. Venkata Suryanarayana Mangipudi, Managing in Consulting Delivery at CGI Hyderabad, and to all the academicians, faculty members, scholars, and students of various other institutions across the globe. Today, we have with us on the studio Professor Dr. S. Geeta Lakshmi, Vice Chancellor, Dr. S. Manivannan, Dean Phase 2 Campus, and Dr. A.R. Arunachalam, HOD of Computer Science Department Phase 2 of Dr.M.G.R. Educational and Research Institute, Chennai. I am Vijay Lakshmi, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, Dr.M.G.R. Educational and Research Institute, will hosting today's event. Machine learning is an application of artificial intelligence that provides systems the ability to automatically learn and improve from experience without being explicitly programmed. It also focuses on the development of computer programs that can access data and use it learn for themselves. Now, I would like to invite Dr. A.R. Arunachalam, HOD of Computer Science Department, Dr. M.G.R. Educational Research Institute, Chennai, to welcome the gathering.
Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. Thanks, ma'am. So, very good afternoon to one and all present here. So, on behalf of Department of Computer Science, Dr. M.G.R. Educational Research Institute, Adayalampattu Phase 2 Campus, I would like to welcome you all to this national webinar on machine learning beyond the hype. So, to start with, let me thank our Honorable President Engineer A.C. Sarunkumar Sir for giving us the approval to conduct this national webinar. And I wholeheartedly thank him for his enormous support towards conducting a lot of online activities. Next, I would like to welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Ma'am, Dr. S. Geeta Lakshmi, who is with us today on the studio, who is going to deliver the inaugural address. So thank you so much, ma'am, in spite of your busy schedule. So thank you so much for accepting our invite to deliver the inaugural address. You have always been an inspiring personality. So thank you so much, ma'am. And next, I would like to welcome the Dean of Phase 2 Campus, Dr. S. Manivannan, sir, who is with us today on the studio to deliver the felicitation address. And next, I would like to welcome the speaker of today's function, Mr. Venkata Suryanarayana Mangipudi, who is a manager consulting delivery at CGI, who has vast experience, especially in machine learning. So thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invite to take this wonderful session. And next, I would like to welcome Mr. Shazur Ali, Director, IT and Engineering, IIHRD, and as well as Dr. Mrityunjaya, who is the Head Academics and Industry Partnerships, IIHRD, Hyderabad, who are with us today. Especially thank you for collaborating with us in organizing this particular webinar. And last but not the least, I would like to welcome all the other dignitaries, faculty members, deans, HODs, executive students of our university who have joined with us today to watch this national level webinar. And I also really welcome all the first year BSc students today who have joined with us today to watch this event. And especially this event has been planned especially for our first year BSc CS students. So on behalf of the department, I once again welcome all of our first year students to watch this national level webinar on machine learning. I'm really very happy that more than 500 participants have registered for this webinar, which shows how much important machine learning is playing an important role. As you all know, machine learning is something, an application of artificial intelligence. No, I could say, we feed the data into the system and we train the system, and the system becomes smarter, and then the system itself starts predicting, and as well as it starts taking decisions. Okay, and so I could say one or two examples where you can easily understand how machine learning is now playing an important role. Something like you post a photo into the Facebook, and then the Facebook automatically recognize the picture of the particular person and ask us to tag that person automatically. So which is face image recognition. And then you use various kinds of voice recognition system, something like Alexa, Siri, okay. And then you've been used to the self-driving cars, okay. And then language translation. And then especially ML is playing now an important role, especially in the healthcare domain, where we are able to diagnose the diseases. So where machine learning is now playing a vital role in health field also. And then something like a spam email filtering, where they automatically ML is taking care of the filtering of spam emails. So I could say, I could tell a lot of n number of n number of applications of machine learning. And today, the speaker who's with us today has vast experience on machine learning, and definitely this session is going to be a fruitful session at the end of the day, so that there will be a good takeaway at the end of the session. So on behalf of the department and as well as on behalf of the university, I once again welcome all the dignitaries on the studio, especially VC ma'am, Dean sir, and then the speaker of today's function, and then the dignitary from IIHRD, as well as all the other participants, as well as first year BSc students, and then faculty members, teachers, or deans, and all the other executives who have joined us today to watch this national level webinar. So have a great day and have a great session too.
Thank you so much, sir. May I now invite Professor Dr. S. Geeta Lakshmi, Vice Chancellor of Dr. M.G.R. Educational and Research Institute, for the inaugural address.
Thank you for welcoming me for this inaugural address for the national level webinar on machine learning and beyond the hype. And on behalf of the management, I should thank our chairman of Dr. M.G.R. Deemed University, Mr. A.C. Shanmugam, and the president, Mr. A.C.S. Arun Kumar, for being liberal as well as giving freedom for our university faculty to conduct such kind of national level webinar and encourage and the knowledge sharing between the experts. So as you know, I should thank also the Department of Computer Science Phase 2, Mr. Arunachalam, the head of the department, and Vijay Lakshmi and Kavita, who have been toiling for many days to make this event successful, and also Mr. Manivannan, the dean of this Phase 2 campus, who was the driving force behind the department. I should thank all the whole team for bringing it possible, and I welcome Mr. Venkata Suryanarayana Mangipudi for managing consultancy delivery, who's willingly gave his time for coming into this webinar and sharing with the faculty and the participants. As you all know, I think machine learning. So from the machine, you can get information and learn a lot because as we advance, the capacity of our brain also advances. So now you know machine learning, and from here we have to learn more and more, and we have to invent more and more through machine learning, and which is as you know, it's an artificial intelligence that provides the system the ability to automatically learn and improve from the experience without being explicitly programmed. So the development of computer program that can access data and use it to learn themselves and to also bring up changes. So this can be particularly in medical diagnosis, language translation, which is also already there, and self-driving cars, which has come out in some of the countries, and speech recognition, and which is also there, and image recognition, which is also present, where we have the image, and still more to come. Sometimes I also feel like sometimes we call a person, but it keeps on ringing, and we are not able to access that person. Either the Wi-Fi is switched off or the net connectivity is switched off. This is for your all the faculties. And but I feel the difficulty, like why it's so sometimes I know that they have to be informed that so and so person, the caller has to know that the so and so person is not in a position to receive our call, and might be they would call you back, or that is already exist, but we have to know where and what is the situation they are in. So these things has to be developed in future, so that and also immediate response to whatever we want to do immediately has to be also a little bit more programmed on this machine learning. So whatever I could understand, I have got into this machine learning, and thank you all for welcoming into this webinar, and I wish the whole process is a success where the faculty and the participant will gain knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for the informative address. May I now invite Dr. S. Manivannan, Dean of Phase 2 Campus, Dr. M.G.R. Educational and Research Institute, for the felicitation address.
Good evening, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure in presenting felicitation address for this very good event. Machine learning, it's a quite interesting and quite useful topic which finds application for all the fields. Especially I have seen, I have guided a few students in PhD, one agricultural side, another one automobile. See, one is from agricultural, another one is from manufacturing. So it connects all the domains. If you are knowing, if you are clearly understanding the concepts of machine learning, you can apply your logic to any applications, rightly pointed by our beloved Vice Chancellor, Madam, as well as our computer science HOD. It finds application right from all the corners. So you can hear a lot from our eminent speaker. So it's going to be a great day for you all. Before going to that, and let me thank my President Engineer ACS Arun Kumar sir and beloved Vice Chancellor Dr. S. Geeta Lakshmi Madam for always motivating, encouraging our activities to raise our institute to the next level. Thankful to you, President sir and VC Madam for the motivation and encouragement. And another main person behind the successful conduct of this event is Dr.M.G.R.Educational and is the Executive Director of IIHRD Hyderabad. That is nothing but Institute for Industrial and HR Development. It's an organization which gives this kind of HR training to the person who is in need. He may be a student or a person who employed and wanted to further enhance his skills. They can approach them. So they are doing wonderful job. Actually, this is the gift by Corona, I can say. Some function which we have organized during the previous month, I could not remember, June or July. That research methodology was attended by Dr. Mrityunjay sir, and immediately after seeing his resume, I was astonished. These kind of big persons are attending our workshop. So immediately I called the next day and I asked him to present some webinar to our HRM students. And he successfully he has taken that webinar. And of course, later he told us, sir, with the encouragement from MGR University, let me introduce few of my friends also, such that your students can get knowledge from this kind of experts. So we are really thankful to you, sir. Without what I can say, without any expectation, there are few persons like you. It's really a great thing. I could term, sir. Thank you for partnering with MGR University. Of course, I wanted to personally thank our speaker of the day, Mr. Venkata Suryanarayana Mangipudi. Sir is from manager consulting delivery CGI, joining from Hyderabad. Really thankful to you, sir, for accepting our invitation, and really, as told by our head of the department today, the program is witnessed by our first year students also. Of course, it's a right opportunity being provided for enhancing their knowledge and skill. Of course, I welcome our Mr. Shazur Ali, Director, joining from IIHRD. He is a information technology and engineering person, especially these kind of computer segments are coming under his control. So it's a great moment for MGR to have person like Mr. Zazizur. Of course, I wanted to congratulate the head of the department, Dr. Arunachalam, and his team, especially Vijay Lakshmi as well as Dr. Kavita, are doing wonderful job for the department. I could see 500 plus registration. It's a great registration after this kind of, what I can say, diluted interest, I can tell. Seeing this kind of now no more lockdown. After so many months, actually speaking, 10 months after, we could see this many registrations. Really a great event, I can tell. With these few words, let me pave way for the speaker. Thank you, one and all, for joining. Let us meet in the some other occasion. Bye.
Thank you so much, sir, for the encouragement and the informative address. May I now invite Sashur Ali, Director, Information Technology and Engineering, IIHRD, to give the introduction about the IIHRD.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, all of you. First of all, I want to thank all of you for your time and joining this webinar. I am Shazar Ali from IIHRD. I would like to give introduction about IIHRD, but before I do that, I want to thank Dr.M.G.R. Education and Research Institute, Chennai, and especially the Dean of this institute, Dr. Manivarnan, for allowing us to associate with them and be the part of knowledge sharing. I will explain I will explain to you what is IIHRD and who is IIHRD. It isn't just an initiative. It is an initiative by 4 of us with an objective to build synergies between industry and academia. We are planning to provide services like internships, small size to mid-size projects from companies, organize aptitude assessment, organize aptitude assessments, or you can call psychometrics tests to make the students industry ready. And we are also calling for some great stories or articles to publish on our website iihrd.com and turn that into some impact, make some impact in the organization or people who are following us. For doing that, we issue them appreciation certificates. It will be a great encouragement for them to articulate these business cases. It will immensely help during help them during their employment and intra departmental communications. And last but not least, the service we provide is talent acquisitions. We provide a platform for both job seekers and recruiters, especially for higher educational institutions like professors, associate professors, and assistant professors. We thought that there must be a free flow of talent between the academic institutions so that the educational institutions leverage out of untapped talent available in the market. So that was the short introduction about IIHRD. Without delaying further, I would let today's webinar to continue, and I will pass it on to Mr. Venkata Suryanarayana Mangipudi. As already mentioned, he is a subject matter expert in data science, machine learning, and artificial intelligence, and currently works in Canadian MNC CGI in Hyderabad. Thanks again for all the attendees. Over to you, Mr. Surya. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our chief guest, Mr. Venkata Suryanarayana Mangipudi, manager in consulting delivery at CGI Hyderabad. He did his master's in data science, statistics from Andhra University, Visakhapatnam, and PG diploma in data science from IIT Bangalore. He has over 19.5 years of industry experience in IT in various areas like development, testing, support, and as a manager. He trained about 150 people in data science and machine learning within the organization and delivered multiple proof of concept and deployed solution to the production. And also he is running an internal innovation initiative on IT service management solutions. On behalf of Dr.M.G.R. Educational and Research Institute, I thank you for gracing us with your presence. Once again, I welcome you, sir. So before we march into the session, we have a note to the participants. We have short question and answer session at the end of the event. So you can post your questions in the comment section regarding your feedback form. The feedback form is available in the description box. It will active from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. I repeat, the feedback form is available in the description box. It will be active from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And regarding the certificates, it will reach you by a maximum of 3 working days. Without any further delay, may I request Mr. Venkata Suryanarayana Mangipudi to please take over the session and enrich us with your knowledge.
Thank you. Is my audio okay?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
We are able to hear you.
You can hear us, right? Okay. Okay, thank you, respected VC ma'am, Dean sir, and the HOD of the Computer Science Department and the other staff, and IIHRD for this opportunity. I truly appreciate the initiative taken by the MGR Institute. I hope that this will be helpful at the end of the session for all the people who are attending. Okay. Hello, everyone. I hope all of you are doing well. And thank you for tuning into this session. I'll stick to the time and any questions as told by the ma'am we'll take towards the end of this. Okay, please keep posting the questions. Okay, machine learning has created enough buzz already, and none of you need any introduction to it. And I think all the speakers before me put it very nicely about the applications of machine learning as well, right? What is this session is going to discuss? We are only talking about this beyond the hype, and what is this phrase about? Is there really a hype about machine learning? We will see that today. Okay. I'll be sharing my screen, and I hope that you're able to see this. In case you don't, just let me know. So uh, we all have seen, you all would have heard this, data is the new oil, and data scientist is the most sexiest job of the 21st century. This article actually was published in Harvard Business Review in 2012. And from then onwards, there is a huge buzz created on this machine learning, the big data, all the areas, right? Essentially in the data science fold, there is a lot of buzz that is created. And this data is the new oil is the another phrase that added more to the already great interest that was generated in the world, right? So is the data really new oil? Is data science really the most desirable job of this century? So data is, yes, it is new oil, but like oil, data also needs refining. You cannot use the raw data. And is data science really a desirable job of the century even today? Because this is 8 years before we got this review, right? Uh, Let us see. So this is what has created the hype. What I am talking about, I really believe that there is a lot of hype created. Now, how do we actually measure it, and what is the how does the hype work, right? This is what you're seeing here is called the hype cycle, which Gartner, a research firm, they do research on many things and publish the findings. Hype cycle is basically how expectations change over time on any specific product or thing or anything, right? So how does it work? An innovation essentially triggers that hype, that expectation. It goes to the peak of the expectations, go to the peak in no time, right? It quickly goes up, and then people find that uh, is it really working to the extent that they're expecting? Because people expect magic to happen as soon as they hear about some exciting things, and well, the magic really doesn't happen like we all expect, right? So it starts coming down, the way you see in the picture, right? It just starts coming down. And this is what is called the trough of disillusionment, where people so eventually it reaches the bottom of the disillusionment, where people think that, okay, this doesn't work, we expected a lot from this, and all that. And then there is a called slope of enlightenment, which means, sorry, slope of enlightenment, which is what you see here. Slowly, the value is realized, right? That okay, what we thought about the magic, that doesn't happen, but definitely there is some value in this, and that value needs to be utilized, and that is what there is a slow climb of the expectations again, and then there is a plateau. So then it settles down where it puts to the right use, or uh, called plateau of productivity. So this is how the hype cycles work everywhere. This is true for most of the cases, even for our personal things also. You can look at this one where you expect a lot and then slowly you settle down for what is the real thing, right? If you have heard about Akash tablet, maybe around 2010-11 time frame, there was a huge buzz created. It is basically what was this hype I am talking about. If you don't know about Akash tablet project, you can Google it. There was a huge buzz about getting the tablet less than 1,000 rupees at that time. At that time, even tablets were quite new things, and this product came that they will deliver the product for just less than 1,000. But eventually, it came down, and now if you check, that project was closed down, right? Basically, it became obsolete. I mean, there was a disillusionment, and then it didn't never pick up. Okay, I'm not saying that machine learning is going to go this way. In fact, there is a lot of research is happening and a lot of value to be generated there. But I just want to set the expectations right, and to give the reality about where it actually stands than what we hear outside, right? So here is what the hype cycle for artificial intelligence. This is the latest report from Gartner, and you see where the machine learning stands here. I have highlighted it. So it actually reached the peak already, and it is now going through the trough of disillusionment, right? So it is almost halfway through, and it will reach somewhere here, and it may eventually go the way the usual hype cycle travels. Right now, you see here the blue dot, what it indicates. It may reach this plateau in 2 to 5 years. That means the reality will come in, and most usage will happen in many places in the right way by 2000. By in another 2 to 5 years from now. It is just a prediction. We don't know the reality. We'll have to wait and watch. Okay, but you see that there is this orange circle with a cross inside. It says cognitive computing. So it came up to the trough of disillusionment where the hype was more, and then it came down, and now it says that it is obsolete before plateau. That means it doesn't exist anymore, kind of a thing, right? So not every product will go through, like I told Akash tablet, right? It came up to here and disappeared. But I strongly believe machine learning will go all the way, because it has tremendous value already. Earlier speakers also gave some examples. It has tremendous value. It is only that this hype has to die down, and the real value has to come out more to the forefront. Okay, and to just make my point, you see the articles, the kind of articles coming in very recently, right? This is June 2020. There were in 2019, in April 2020, what they're saying, whatever happened to that Harvard prediction, right, in the first slide that we looked at, which means to say that it is no more what they expected then. And another prediction in 2019, Gartner said that 85% of the artificial intelligence products, they will not be delivered, which means they generally, what we do in the industry, we do a proof of concept, and it will stop there for most of the time, right? So that is what it means. So there are so much negative talk on this data science or machine learning. Okay, again, this is the other side of the spectrum. The first time we saw that there is a lot of hype, and this one is a lot of negative talk about it. As always in life, the truth is somewhere in between. That is what I believe. And the truth is that it will eventually plateau to a place where it can be productively used. It is really valuable in the end. Now let us see some applications of how machine learning is effective. Some of the applications may be repetitive because the earlier speakers or HODs or they are told give some examples. I may have used the same examples here also, so bear with me. Embedding in the customer process, right? So essentially what is this is you use artificial intelligence and machine learning to actually match your scarf or your any of your accessories with the shoes, and you just scan that accessory, and then your mobile or some app, right, it can search for the matching shoes, right, very quickly. Okay, where AI is at work here. uh, the next one, this is an interesting example of a digital twin, right? In the traditional maintenance, how it works is that machine, generally we maintain machines as in a reactive way, or at best as a preventive maintenance we do, uh, which means what? You wait until something breaks and then replace the parts, right? In the machine, if something breaks, then you replace the parts, which is what is reactive maintenance. But you lose time there because you don't expect it to break and it suddenly breaks, and you'll have to wait until it is fixed, right? You lose a lot of productive time. And in preventive maintenance, you expect that the lifetime of a part is say 1 year or 2 years, and then you replace it. You don't know whether the part can last for even longer, so you may incur extra cost because you are not utilizing your resources in a best possible way, right? Now the new way of doing it is predictive maintenance, where you create a digital equivalent of this machine, right, what you're seeing here, and then using sensors you monitor a lot of parts here which are critical for its functioning, and you pass on the data, right? You collect the data and pass on this to this digital twin. It is, and then it keeps monitoring the data, and it will predict for you when is the possible breakdown or a failure. So just before the failure, you can replace it, which is called the just in time, right? Replacement, which will be a very cost effective and gives you a lot of productive time, right? So this is another high value derived using AI, right? And another thing, excuse me, is what you see here, which is called the GAN, Generative Adversarial Network. This is again, GANs are very recent, you can say, inventions or discoveries. Maybe in the last 4 or 5 years they came into being, but you can see how advanced they are now. One of the examples right here, see, you input a picture to this network, right? I mean, this is a model. Generative adversarial network is a model of machine learning. You input a picture and it can generate emotions from that picture, right? You input this picture, you can see that anger or frustration or laughter, it can generate those emotions, right? uh, what if I mean, you can just think of the applications. What if uh, these things can get better, and we can get better in the sense, maybe they are at the initial stage, because I said 4 to 5 years. If they get into advanced stage, what if we use these things, and our movie stars, right, they don't need a body double to do any risky stunts, and you can use this technology to make it work, right? uh, Another thing here, you see, these three look like models from the advertisements that we see, right? But only problem is they don't really exist in this world. They are generated, completely generated using generative adversarial networks. And you see the link here I gave, this person does not exist.com. If you go there and look for it, there is almost every time you hit, you get a new face generated there. That is how advanced this technology is now, that these people doesn't exist in this world, but they look as real as they can get, right? Now just think about it. Uh, if you can just make a movie using the people who don't exist, right? Like this here, you can generate a new person altogether, and in the previous example we saw that the emotions can be generated. Then what if you can completely shoot a movie without actual people, right? Maybe that is possible in future, I don't know, but uh, these are all the possibilities that can open up, right? I mean, there can be better ideas. I may give a trivial example, but this is how technology is going, and this is the advances that are happening in the machine learning and artificial intelligence areas. And whenever I give these examples, right, one request is, please think in the other way, right? Maybe what I'm giving is simple and good examples, but what are the some things which in cases where you can put the technology for wrong usage, right? Anybody who can do that as well. Everything that exists can be used for good and bad. What are the wrong ways that it can be used? You can think about them, right? Another one, say if you're a photographer and you love Picasso's paintings as well, then you can simply convert your photos and then you give a input of one of your favorite painters paintings, and your picture will be converted into that kind of a painting, right? Your photo, and you will have a painting in this style. This is called the style transfer. And you can use this Van Gogh simulator. Again, you can get this on Google and try these things out. It's fun, and it is interesting to learn that what kind of advances are happening in the world, right? And this is much simpler example, and we heard about language translation earlier as well. This is taking it to one level more, right? So when you go to another state or another country, in which you don't know the local language, and you go to a restaurant and there is this menu card which is written in that local language, you don't know what is what, right? But you don't have to worry anymore now, because you just take out your app, Google's Translate app, and then focus this one onto your camera, and it will immediately, it can translate it and show it in English to you, right? Now you don't need to worry that you don't know the language. And this is what is achieved using convolutional neural networks, which are the deep learning part of machine learning. Okay. And this is a very recent example. I included it because it is interesting and it is relevant for the current days and times that we live in, right? So now during this pandemic, there is this famous temple in Mumbai called Siddhivinayak Temple. You would have heard about it, or you might have visited as well, some of you. So this was opened very recently, only this week, right? 16th November, as you can see here. This is a clip taken from Mumbai Mirror. So you can actually go online and check this one as well. They opened it on 16th. And the interesting part here is how they opened it, right? Because you have to enforce the social distancing protocols, everything, and enforcing it in a temple kind of a situation is very difficult with so many people visiting. So they actually turned to AI and machine learning. And you see here, I've taken clips from the video. You can actually watch the video on this site, the complete video. I actually recommend to watch this video to understand the value that AI provides to the real life. It can actually detect the temperature, and see here the mask is detecting. If you don't wear a mask, it will highlight it here when you pass through the entry gates. And the other thing, if people congregate, you see these boxes, it actually identifies people, and if number of people is beyond the limit, then it will probably raise an alarm there in the control room, right? And this is happening in Mumbai Siddhivinayak Temple as we speak. So this is a very relevant application of AI, isn't it? So we talked about the applications. Now I will come to the evolution of this AI and machine learning. See here, contrary to many people who think that this is a recent phenomenon, it is not. Artificial intelligence is, as a concept, is there from 1950s. Yeah. Early stages of artificial intelligence. It was in a different form, not the way it is currently. It was in a different form. So if it is from 1950s, why the hype is from 2010 and this decade? That is a relevant question to ask ourselves, right? The only thing is the artificial intelligence then was in a different format altogether. It was trying to replicate the human brain in a way completely. But what happened in the early stage in 1980s, there was this machine learning started flourishing. So even machine learning existed even before that, but mostly in the statisticians used to do this one in the, not in the name of machine learning, but they used to do this modeling and all these things on paper or in their computer labs in a small way. But in 1980s, when the computing became more accessible and affordable, this machine learning started to flourish. And as recent as 2010 is when deep learning breakthroughs were made, and this really opened up the windows to this world of machine learning for many people, as the applications of deep learning are very wide. And this is where it started, whatever I am talking about, the hype or the Harvard Business Reviews or the data becoming new oil. Everything started with this breakthroughs that happened in 2010, and there is a lot of research happening even today. I already mentioned that this GANs, right, generative adversarial networks, they are a recent phenomenon of last 4 or 5 years. So research is still happening, but this is how it was evolution happened. Now, what changed, right? So this is what has driven the growth or hyper growth in data science and machine learning. So before I go there, I use these terms AI, data science, and machine learning very interchangeably. They have differences, but that is not our topic of discussion. So I am using it with an assumption that you understand the difference. But if you don't, it is not in our scope of discussion. So I didn't, but you should look for it. There is difference between data science, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. Not big difference, they overlap a lot, but there is some difference that we should recognize. Okay. So there is a lot of data that is available, and there is high performance computing that was available. There is cloud, there are new platforms, open source, and new algorithms. And above all of these availability became at a very affordable price. If you don't know, when I was studying my post-graduation 20 years before, I was working on a very small computer in my department's lab, which is hardly some MBs of hard disk and one few KBs of RAM, right? We used to run a Fortran program and probably take a come back in the evening to see the results. Kind of, I really saw that, and I heard stories of people before me, even taking more days to do that. So probably you don't even know that this kind of a situation was there, but now it is very cheap, right? I mean, your mobile itself is into some GBs. So that kind of availability and affordability also made this machine learning more popular. Now we'll take one more step deeper. The analytics itself is actually 4 types: descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics. So descriptive says that what happened. So everything, it starts with the data. You have some data, and the data is, say, yesterday's or day before or last month or last year data. And what does the descriptive analysis says? It just says that what happened. So you have data for the last 1 year. It tells whatever it is. It tells that what happened in that 1 year based on that data. That is all it tells. Then you go a little one step ahead further. It says it is diagnosis. Okay, what happened? Then why it happened also you will be able to identify using this diagnostic analytics. Okay. Now you know what happened and why it happened. Now what is the use of knowing this? Because you want to understand what happens tomorrow, right? That is what is predictive analytics, right? What will happen tomorrow is predictive analytics. Now you know what will happen tomorrow, but what will you do with that information, right? You will have to take some decisions. If you're running a business and you know what happens tomorrow, you will have some decisions to be taken. That is what is the decision making here. And prescriptive analytics is basically, it will tell you what kind of a decision you should take. In this predictive, you may have uh, only tell you what will happen, but here it will give you, say, few decisions. Okay, something is happening and you have to take any of these following 1, 2, 3 actions. Now you have to decide as a business owner what decision you will take out of those 3 and then put them into action. So this is how the flow is. But what is happening now with the advances, this decision support is just not just recommending few decisions. It is actually taking its own decision, right? The system is becoming better and better because machine learning, as it gets more and more data, it gets better and better. So as it sees that more decisions are taken by humans, it understands in which scenarios they're taking what kind of decisions. So it can automate the decision making process. And you can see that this arrow is pushing into action, so it can even probably initiate actions also. It is still at a entry phase, right? You can see here, right? So as you see the human input, this is in the gray color, it is coming, it is becoming lesser and lesser as machine are learning better and better. That is how this works. But see, data is the base for this, right? You should have data and good data. Okay. uh, and machine learning is basically, it is multidisciplinary. It is not just machine learning. The data science as an umbrella, it is multidisciplinary. You can see that you need to understand so many things to really become a data scientist. You need to have a lot of, not only the technical skills and other statistics or whatever, right? Neurocomputing, all these skills, and then you should have presentation skills, communication skills, domain knowledge, all whatever is written here, everything is required for you to be a data scientist. So it is not about having one skill, it is not enough. Okay. When you come to the skill maps, so here the bigger circle here tells the process of how the machine learning works. It starts here, the business, right? Businesses will have some problem, or they will engage for analyzing something, and then you collect data. Then you work with the data, understand the data, clean the data, and then you explore the data for any patterns in that. Then you extract some features. Features are nothing but, if you imagine data in a spreadsheet like rows and columns, the columns are what we call features. So you understand which features are important in the data, and then give them as an input to the machine learning program or model, and then do a testing that how good the results are, and then you deliver it to the business. And then you keep improving that one going forward. So this is a cycle. So these are the skills required, are the tasks that we do in machine learning. And you see that these smaller circles are different roles: data scientists, data engineers, machine learning specialists, domain expert, and each one needs all these skills, but at different levels. You can see data scientist needs to be good at most of the things, and the next one, machine learning developer, requires skills, and some of them it is okay if he or she is poor in those skills, it is okay, but whereas data scientist cannot be poor in any of the skills. Yeah. To keep it more simpler, we'll take this example, this Venn diagram, where overall data science is a combination of three factors here. Now, hacking doesn't mean the general meaning that we tend to understand in a common usage. Hacking here is more of ability to manipulate the data and this programming skills to do that, right? That is what is hacking here meant. And again, this is about from drewconway.com. You can get more details about this Venn diagram, but I'll give most of the information to you. Okay. If you have these hacking skills, which means your programming skills or ability to manipulate data using computer programming, it is not enough. You can see that this alone doesn't give you machine learning skills, right? But the most important, according to me, is substantive expertise or domain knowledge, domain expertise. Let's take one example of a college, as most of this audience is students. Probably it's better to do it that way, right? You have a lot of students, marks, information available, and say a college or institute wants to analyze the data of the students in the last 10 years. Now, if you know, if you are a programmer and you know how to manipulate the data, but you don't know what the data indicates, right? You don't understand the mark system and all that, then you cannot do anything with that data. The domain expert, or who is a academician, or who understands how this marking system works, they are the domain experts. They will be able to tell, right? I would like say the pass mark is 35. I mean, this is a trivial example again. Maybe everybody knows pass mark and all, but ideally domain knowledge is what I'm trying to tend, and I hope you are getting the point. Say if pass mark is 35 out of 100, it is important for the programmer to know that information. Or some institutes may say pass mark is 45. We don't know, right? So you need to have that domain expert giving that information to you, or you should be a domain expert to know that. Now, if you know this programming and this domain knowledge you have, you can do an analysis. you will generate some reports out of it, and some numbers will come out of that. When you do the marks analysis, say some numbers are coming out, say a mean value of 60 marks and a median value, say 50 marks is coming in that. Now, what do you understand from this mean of 60 and median of 50? What will you infer from that, right? That is the next question. Now, if you don't know what to infer, maybe there are some things, right? A class average of 60, so maybe your inference says that say most of my students are first class students because average is 60. That is one kind of inference you can draw, definitely. Then the other kind of inference is maximum students are getting above 60 is one kind of inference. Or the other question can be, are these clients has more below average students than above average students, or above average students than below average students? These are the questions, right? You need to answer, but will you be able to answer? If you don't know the right methodology, you may not be able to answer. So that is where this danger zone is. You can conclude that the class is very good, the students are scoring high marks, so maybe my college or faculty is doing an excellent job, is what they may conclude. But what if it is a wrong conclusion, right? It is a dangerous conclusion. That's why we say that just this one and these computer skills are a danger zone, because there is every possibility of drawing wrong conclusions. So how do you do that in a correct way? You need this math or statistics knowledge to ensure that you are doing the right conclusion for the outcome that you're getting using your programming and domain knowledge skills. Just continuing with the same example, right? Now, if you take that average of 60 marks, or mean of 60 and median of 50, it means that median 50 means half of the class is below 50 marks, and mean of 60 only indicates that there are few bright students in the class who are scoring very high, maybe 80 or 90, and they're keeping the mean to the 60. So probably the inference should be that the class is really not doing that good, or the faculty is not doing that good, right? So this is how you will be able to infer the right things if you have the right knowledge of math and statistics, right? So that is why all these three are important. It is not that one of these will do the job. It will never do that. I hope you're seeing the point of the example I'm making here, right? However, if you want to be just doing machine learning, computer skills and math and stat knowledge is still important. These two combined, you can do machine learning, but you should still understand some level of domain, okay? And the last thing, if you know math, statistics, and you have a lot of domain knowledge, but you don't know these programming skills, this is what the problem in the traditional research, where they have limited capabilities of using large data, right? I mean, you cannot do this manually without having computers, right? The amount of data that is processed. So all three play an important role. Okay. I hope you're seeing the point what I'm making here. So machine learning, you broadly classify them into shallow learning and deep learning on the basis of the amount of data that it requires to get the right results and amount of computing you need. One thing you remember is, in businesses, everything is money, right? When you put more data and more computing power, that means it costs more, and every business wants to minimize its costs and maximize its profits. So you see, that's why most of the machine learning is still done on shallow learning, as you can see that it has lesser data requirements and lesser computing power requirements. Even though these results may be better, or in most cases better, but cost is an important factor. Okay, and again, one more thing, sophistication of, there are different kinds of solutions available in the market. Again, if you measure it with the cost and the sophistication it offers, that means the latest or like the GANs, which I told you, if you want to implement them, which one will provide better solutions, right? That kind of a sophistications and the cost. Again, you see here, open source is scoring more because it is highly sophistication it offers, and it is offered at a very low cost, right? So open source is good. Like, you can use Python to do whatever is possible in machine learning, right? You can do most of it using Python, which is open source. So one last thing I'll quickly conclude with this is about ethics. I earlier mentioned to you about think of how these can be used for wrong purposes, right? So some of the examples, there was a chatbot released by Microsoft on Twitter, and in less than a day, right, that bot learned a lot of things based on the other tweets that it was reading, and it started to actually send out some bad tweets, racist slurs or Nazi propaganda, and Microsoft had to immediately shut down that bot. uh, and then another example, Amazon used to initiated a hiring based on AI, right? They were recruiting people based on AI, and they found that it was not a fair system. The algorithm, the modeling or AI model which it was being used, it was preferring more male candidates over female candidates. The reason they found is the data that it got as input, right? It was more than it was using more male candidates in that data than female candidates. This is what we call bias, and this is very wrong way of using data. Okay, so what is important here? AI is not human, but people who build AI, they are human, and they can always make mistakes intentionally or unintentionally, and we should not allow that uh, kind of a mistakes to be made. Yeah, and that is why we have to be very careful, and all of that happens with the data, because that is the baseline, as I showed you, and we should be very careful with that, how you manipulate the data and all. You should ensure that all of these rules, right, what I mentioned here, compliance, risk, you ensure that how your value system is, what kind of ethics. Nobody has to tell anybody what is right or wrong, right? Everybody knows it. It is how they use it, right? These are all very important if you are assuming, if you are actually trying to predict something, because it is a very dangerous path to tread, and it can always go wrong in a very short time frame. As there are many students here and who may be interested in pursuing this, I thought that this is an important aspect to cover, right? And in a nutshell, if I summarize, right, there is a lot of data, but every data set is not relevant for ML or machine learning, right? Understanding data and extracting right features is the key for the success of your machine learning. And organizations, remember this, because we learned machine learning, nobody is going to use machine learning. Organizations have business problems, they don't have machine learning problems to solve. It is our job to identify how that business problem can be converted into machine learning problem and find a solution. Okay, machine learning is not automation. It is definitely not automation. It is automation is different and machine learning is different. Machine learning needs human intervention. This I strongly believe that it will never be a case where humans are not necessary to do something. Humans need it because we saw that data has to be carefully input for this, right? And understanding the bias, again, I told you in the earlier case where more male candidates were there in the data, not female. So this is bias. This is again what you learn in math and statistics, how to handle this. Okay, and whoever is doing this, you have to understand regulations of different countries like data privacy, GDPR, which is there in Europe. All this we have to understand before jumping on to doing something with data. Uh, Again, logic, mathematics, it's very important. People overlook this. So machine learning is not like learning any programming language. It is like learning some science, right? It is like you have to put a lot of effort to understand the logic behind it, the mathematics behind it. Only then you will master it. And domain, okay, for me this is the most important thing. If you don't understand the domain knowledge, whatever else you do, it is of no use. I strongly believe in this. So all three are important, and you have to give very much equal importance to all three, right? Programming, your mathematics and statistics, and the domain knowledge to be a successful machine learning developer or a data scientist. Yeah. With that, I conclude, and I hope we still have time. If you have any questions, please. Any questions?
Thank you so much, sir. I must mention this session was impressive and gave an insight of machine learning. I hope this session has opened many areas of research in everyone's mind. Now, let's move on to the question answer session. Let me read out the question for you. The first question: what is the difference between ML and artificial intelligence? Can ML detect human language and do work? I repeat,
Uh,
what is the difference between machine learning and artificial intelligence? Can ML detect human language and do work?
yes. ML and artificial intelligence, right? Uh, Artificial intelligence is a big area, a wide area. The machine learning is just one way of achieving artificial intelligence. I hope I answered that question. And the second one, detecting human language, yes, it can do that. But again, the question is, what is the kind of input you are doing? See, end of the day, computers understand only numbers, right? That we all know. So how do you put this human language data, which was earlier? I mean, it can understand text, it can read text, it can understand the speech. Like what we are speaking, if we give it as input, it will recognize the speech as well. But you have to make it capable first by giving a lot of input. Like many people speaking, if you give it to that machine learning program, it will first understand that. Then next time, when I speak, it will start understanding and it will immediately infer what I am speaking, the meaning of it. It can summarize the text. You give 2 pages of text, it will give you one summary. I mean, I can give examples. You can go and search for transformers in natural language processing in Google, and you will see a lot of examples of how you can summarize text using machine learning, etc.
Okay, sir. Then second question, how machine language is helpful for our country?
Uh, Yes, our country, yeah. So one thing I showed how when the crowd management becomes a very important aspect in India, right? Because of our population. So one thing I showed as an example in Siddhivinayak temple, it can be applied. I mean, we do something called every 12 years, there is this pushkarams for the rivers we do, right? Uh, every 12 years, there is a huge congregation at rivers and all, where the melas happen. And there almost lakhs and crores of people will congregate, and using this you can detect a lot of things, right? I mean, if there is any theft happening, if people are missing, or if there is any fights happening, there is a lot of things that can happen when so many people congregate. All of this can be done sitting in a control room. You cannot have thousands of police manning that kind of a size of population. So definitely it is. I mean, there are many examples. This one comes to my mind immediately.
And the final question, sir, can machine language detect outbreak of pandemic and give an alarm?
uh, I mean, so it is not a easy answer, I would say, because every pandemic outbreak is, uh, I mean, as you all know, we all understand that it is a very complex thing, because it is spread across the world and it has depends on many factors, right? So even if you, I mean, it has a possibility to detect. I probably cannot discuss that in detail, but it has a possibility to detect. But I am not sure that it can actually detect with a reasonable accuracy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. May I now request our technical team to please display the appreciation certificate as a
Ma'am,
token of
yeah,
love and
sure.
affection.
Yeah, thanks. Sir, so thank you so much, sir, Mr. Venkata, Suryanarayana. I mean, it's been a great session. I mean, I could see a lot of positive feedback from the participants. I mean, your presence was really great today. I mean, it was totally a wonderful session. So, on behalf of the department and as well as on behalf of the university, once again, thank you for accepting our invite. And I also would like to thank IIHRD for collaborating with us to conduct this national webinar. Thank you, sir. So you can just call Kavita ma'am to give a vote of thanks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
May I now, thank you, sir. May I now request Dr. R. Kavita, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, Dr. M.G.R. Educational and Research Institute, to deliver the vote of thanks. Ma'am, we can't able to hear you,
Sorry.
ma'am.
Yeah, I am with the mix. Sorry, thank you. Good evening to everyone connected here. It's my pleasure to propose the vote of thanks for this national webinar on mission learning beyond the hype. First, I would like to extend my gratitude towards our Honorable President, Engineer ACS Arun Kumar, for accepting our request to conduct this event today in a grand manner. I am also grateful to our Vice Chancellor, Dr. S. Geeta Lakshmi, our Provost, Dr. G. Gopalakrishnan, and our Registrar, Dr. C. B. Parnivelu, for their tremendous guidance and motivation. A special thanks to Dr. Malini Pandey, Joint Registrar HNDS, Dr. S. Ramalingam, Joint Registrar Phase 2, Dr. S. Manivannan, Dean Phase 2, and Dr. B. N. Rajavarman, Deputy Dean Phase 2, for being the pillars of support. I would like to thank our HOD, Dr. A.R. Arunachalam, for his constant encouragement, and Mrs. V. Vijayalakshmi, Assistant Professor, Computer Science Department, for coordinating this event successfully. I would like to thank our beloved speaker, Mr. Venkata Suryanarayana Mangipudi, Manager in Consulting Delivery at CGI Hyderabad, wholeheartedly for accepting our invitation at such a short notice and deciding to support us during this crisis. It was really a knowledgeable and an enriching session. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Shashur Ali, Director IT and Engineering, IIHRD, and Dr. Mutyajaya Rao Mangudi, Head Academics and Industry Partnerships, IIHRD Hyderabad, for collaborating with us in organizing this webinar. I would like to say a big thank you to the faculty members and all other participants for joining us from all over the world. We are excited to see the enthusiasm you all have shown. Keep supporting us by connecting to all our future programs. Stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. For the participants, please do not forget to fill the feedback form. The certificates will reach you by a maximum of 3 working days. You will definitely receive the certificates once you fill the feedback form. I see in the comment section asking for the presentation. We have it in our policy that the speaker's presentation is not shared, but this video is available in our YouTube channel forever. The name of our YouTube channel is Dr.M.G.R. University Phase 2 Digital Learning. I repeat, the name of our YouTube channel is Dr.M.G.R. University Phase 2 Digital Learning. The video can be viewed from our channel. It is available throughout, and also please do not forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you so much for the participants for your love and affection. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.
Dr.M.G.R.Educational and Research Institute, University, Mother of all Chennai.